Ronnie in Ohio is on the line. Ronnie, you're live with Bigg Bump. Thanks for calling and holding.
Hey, Bigg Bump, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Doing
How you
fine,
doing,
thank you.
man?
Yeah, I know I know y'all running out of time, so I'll get right to it. Bigg Bump, he played that song during the break,
Yeah.
and I heard a bar that you had, and it was, and I don't want to mess it up, so you might have to fix it. But you said Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do anything wrong. That's that. But Breonna Taylor was a real thug, and that's facts. You said something like that.
Something like that. I know I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You can you kind of, I guess, elaborate on those bars? I know sometimes 16 ain't enough, and it's hard to really explain what you're saying in each bar. But what do you mean by Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do anything wrong and that Breonna Taylor was a thug?
Kyle Rittenhouse was being attacked. If we're going off the killings, the self-defense thing, that was self-defense. He was being attacked, and he had a weapon. He had the right to defend himself.
And then Breonna Taylor.
She was involved in all the shenanigans with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, the drug dealing, the body in the car,
A
the rental car.
That's under her name, huh?
Yeah. And she was involved with the drug game, thug.
Makes sense, Ronnie? You follow that?
I follow it. I won't go over the cliff with it, but I follow it.
Oh, you won't go over the cliff, meaning you don't agree with it.
I think what he said was kind of overboard. I will say it was overboard.
What was overboard?
To say that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do anything wrong.
What did he? You think he did something wrong?
No. And then on Breonna Taylor's side, when she died, she didn't have a criminal record. So it's hard to say. It's hard to give that thug label to somebody without a record.
All thugs don't have criminal records.
I know a lot of thugs that don't have criminal records.
Yeah, you get you get away with a lot of crime.
So we can say that even though Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't have a criminal record, he could still be categorized as a thug, right?
If he had done wrong stuff, yeah. What did he do wrong, do you think? In short, because I got to keep it moving. But I like this call.
Absolutely, yes. So if somebody who doesn't like Trump goes to a Trump rally and then is knowing that, to antagonize Trump, not to view it, not to just be in there and see what the thing is like.
Yeah.
If they're going there with the intent of saying like, hey, you guys are my opposition, and then they feel threatened for their lives and they start shooting people, is that self-defense? Or will we say that maybe they should have just stayed home?
In that case, they should have stayed home because they shouldn't be antagonizing. You think that Kyle Rittenhouse went there to antagonize or to protect businesses? After a day of rioting?
I think he should have just stayed home.
But did he go to antagonize or to protect businesses?
He went armed.
Did he go to antagonize or to protect businesses? Or neither?
I'm not about to discuss what his intent was. My point is he went somewhere where he knew there would be opposition. He knew that he knew that he was armed.
Yeah.
And that it might end up resulting in him taking some people's lives. So maybe he should have just stayed home.
No.
If this was I would have a different opinion if it was his front neighborhood or if it was right down the street from his school, but this wasn't even in the same state that he lived. So
you could say that, but it was his neighborhood.
I think he should have just
It was his neighborhood.
Just stay home.
It was his neighborhood, and he went to look out for the businesses after it, because there was already there not a night of rioting already that happened, and then he came the second night of rioting to protect.
I think there was before.
That wasn't his neighborhood, and he wasn't.
It was his neighborhood, though. You're mistaken about that. He worked there. He was not far, he did not live far from there. I think he worked in that neighborhood.
He worked there?
Yeah, and he went to clean up graffiti. He was like a do-gooder. You can argue, he shouldn't have he shouldn't have gone, but.
Which is that's literally my only argument. Is that
I know, but
maybe he should have stayed home. So I'm saying.
But how about Antifa and Black Lives Matter? Should they have gone?
I'm not here to lump in Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Let's stay on Rittenhouse.
No. But I would like to know what you think. Should Antifa and Black Lives Matter have stayed home?
I don't think we got time for that to talk about.
In short, yes or no. I want your opinion. Sincere opinion, yes or no. Should they have stayed home? Antifa, Black Lives Matter.
I think anybody that wants to go protest should do so unarmed. If they go protest and they know that their quote unquote opposition will be there.
No, answer my question, Ronnie.
I just answered it.
So you said yes, they should go out there.
I don't care what group they're in. If they're going to protest and exercise their First Amendment right, that's cool. But for you to feel like you should bear arms,
your Second Amendment right, you shouldn't have your Second Amendment right with your First Amendment.
You can't have your Second Amendment right.
Now they had nothing to protest. They had nothing to protest.
To sit down and drink, you're not allowed to carry your weapon into that bar. So
that's different from.
There are times.
That's different from being on the street with a violent riot on your hands, buddy. They were protesting.
Don't go in the street where there's a violent riot because then you might kill somebody. So he did.
There's nothing wrong with killing somebody There's nothing wrong with killing somebody if it's in self-defense. He was protecting businesses. Those people had no business being there. They were riot.
Business being there.
No, they did not. They did not have any business being there. No, they didn't, because the cops rightfully shot a violent guy who was resisting arrest and getting a knife, and they shot him, and then they protested over nothing.
People are allowed to protest even if it's over nothing. The Constitution doesn't.
And Kyle is allowed to. And Kyle is allowed to exercise his Second Amendment in a protest zone to protect businesses. He was totally allowed to do that. I
strongly disagree with that.
How is he not allowed to do it?
A home invasion is different. That's when the Second Amendment is called for. It's not called for when you cross state. It's not called for when you cross state lines.
Now you're just repeating. Now you're repeating nonsense. You're repeating buzzwords.
I'm
crossing state lines. What does that even have to do with anything? You're repeating mainstream media misinformation, man.
Did he cross state lines?
He crossed state lines, but that has nothing to do with anything.
It's not misinformation.
No, it is. It has nothing to do with anything. It is misinformation.
Is it a fact?
It's a fact, but it's irrelevant to the truth.
And it's not illegal to cross state lines.
It's not illegal to cross state lines.
I don't usually tell people they're not allowed to state something that's factual. That's a little.
But it has nothing to do with anything.
It's your show though, so I guess you can. Yeah. I guess what you say goes, and
you're blind.
And even if somebody says something that's factual, if it goes against your argument, you say you can't say that.
It has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't go against my argument. It's just not an argument. I got to run, Ronnie in Ohio. Last word, Bigg Bump. Take care. Man.
Breonna Taylor was a thug. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
That's it.